Right, non-profit organizations are appealing for donations of clothes, blankets and perishable food items for displaced Dakota informal settlement residents. It all comes after a fire gutted over 300 makeshift structures in Isipingo, south of Durban last night. No deaths or injuries have been reported. Newzroom Afrika's Nobuhle Modise joins us live from there now. Nobuhle, we have been speaking throughout the course of this afternoon, just you painting a picture of the devastation and the impact. I mean, one area that we really have not spoken to is whether or not valuable documents have been lost in the fire and what the government officials will be doing about it.
Indeed, Paul, a lot of people here are saying that many of them, their documents were inside their homes when the fire was happening. So a lot of them have lost their documents. There are a few that we spoke to who managed to, salvage those important documents. They had them on them in their bags. But most people here say most of their documentation stays in the house. They're always in the house. And so that's how they lost their documentation. We haven't heard anything from the Department of Home Affairs in the province regarding whether they will be coming here. Maybe it's something that's going to happen in the next few days, but we haven't heard anything yet as when it comes to whether they will be here assisting them, in reapplying for those important documents, because a lot of them are on SASSA grants and they will need that documentation in order for them to be able to, access the grant, their cards as well, everything, everything that they need in their person in terms of, surviving in the state has essentially, gone away in that fire that took place last night. So we haven't heard anything regarding Home Affairs in the province with whether they're going to be coming here to assist them or if they have to then themselves make their way to Home Affairs offices and ensure that they reapply for that important documentation. Earlier I said to you that the MEC of Human Settlements is expected to be here. It's not the MEC of Human Settlements that's expected to be here, but the MEC of COCTA, Ms. Bongi who's meant to be here. We're not sure when she's going to be here, but when I spoke to her team earlier, they had said that she's not far away from here. You must remember that following the resignation of the MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture in the province, she's had to then act in that role, and so we are told that she had other commitments within that department to attend to before making her way here. So we're unsure as to what time she will get here. I spoke to Gift of the Givers as well, and they're explaining that there's many trucks that are making their way here from Pietermaritzburg, as I've been saying throughout the day. Those trucks haven't arrived yet, but I understand that one of their spokespeople are here, and I'm not sure where he is around here, but I was supposed to speak to him, but he mentioned the fact that the trucks will get here at around in an hour or so. I'm assuming that they have a lot of aid to give out here. He didn't get into specifics. I'm moving out of shot so you can just see what's happening behind me, but like I was saying, he didn't get into specifics about what exactly it is that they have. There is still that appeal for blankets, clothes, non-perishable food items for those who are displaced here. We understand that a few trucks are making their way from Pietermaritzburg, from Gift of the Givers, making their way here. The people that you're seeing in the shot right now, the displaced people that you're seeing are being handed out food by the Red Cross. They did mention to us that they would be supplying warm meals 3 times a day to ensure that those who are displaced are at least eating. So that is what they're doing. We saw in the morning as well, they received breakfast and they are now receiving food once again. And this is something that's been playing out throughout the day. We'll then see what happens when Gift of the Givers gets here. Like I said, they haven't specified what it is exactly in terms of aid that they are bringing here to the informal settlement here in Isipingo Beach.
Looking at perhaps interacting with some of the residents who've been affected by this blaze, what have they had to say to you in terms of some of the big concerns, because this has happened repeatedly?
A lot of them are saying that, number one, this is an industrial area and those who are employed in the area. So whenever there are incidents like the flooding incident, like if there was another fire before this, what they do is that they just simply rebuild. And that's what they're used to. One interesting thing that they said to me is that they're not used to receiving aid from government. So whenever there's some sort of tragedy, it's on them to rebuild. They will receive food from non-profit organizations like we're seeing here today. They'll receive clothing, but that's as far as it goes. In terms of rebuilding, they then just have to pick themselves up by themselves and ensure that they rebuild their structures like they've been doing throughout the years. So it's something, like I said, that they somehow used to, which is odd, but this is, the informal settlement is on a flat plain, so it's susceptible to a lot of inclement weather conditions. So they did suffer 2 rounds of flooding. There are fires that have taken place here previously. A guy I was speaking to earlier was saying this is about the 7th or 8th fire, in a space of 2 years. So he was just explaining that nothing gets done by the government. They have to pick up the pieces themselves. But a conversation also needs to be had around whether they should be rebuilding in that particular spot where they are residing, where these tragedies continue to take place, because it is clear that that place is unsafe, and every time there's something like this that happens, they then have to begin from scratch. But they are saying that they're not willing to move because a lot of them are employed here in the area, and moving to other areas outside of here is then an extra cost in their pocket.
Absolutely. Let's perhaps leave it there for now. Some developments coming out of Isipingo, the Dakota informal settlement. Our reporter Nobuhle Modise bringing us up to speed with some of the concerns and the plans for the day.